for coming here tonight. I apologize now for my signing and my talking. I have a really hard time total communication-wise, which means I'll be talking and signing the entire night. So yes, my signing will be slow, my talking will be slow, but so. Tonight I wanted to discuss with you all two topics that are important in our major. The first one you guys have probably heard about is the cochlear implant controversy. And the second one is the communication systems that we will use as teachers possibly, and just the different manual signing systems that you might see in the future. So the first topic I wanted to start with was one that we were all aware of, which was the cochlear implant controversy. This is something that's really important to our major. See, hard, sign and talk. It's important because we're gonna have families asking us what our opinions are about this controversy, if we would suggest cochlear implants or not. So I thought maybe it would help to open our minds if you all knew about why both sides think why they do. So first I wanted to give you information about why people might support cochlear implants. A lot of people see it as a method to give kids access to sound. It's simply, it aids like spoken language development. It helps them to hear what the sounds are and not just rely on the lips. When a lot of parents want kids to know about speaking and vocalizing because their families are hearing, they want their grandparents to understand them and communicate. It allows for a lot more inclusion and mainstream opportunities in the hearing world. A lot of parents are hearing and they have deaf children, not deaf community. They have deaf children and they want them to have the same opportunities and the same schooling that they had growing up. And so they want their kids to be successful in school, but in hearing school. And so they want to give them the access to sound that maybe will help them communicate with their peers, communicate with their teachers and everyone else, and not only rely on an interpreter. And finally, the easiest way I've found to explain why professionals suggest and support cochlear implants is because they see cochlear implants as technology that fixes a medical problem. They see it as you have hearing loss. That means something's wrong. Okay, this will help you fix that problem. They don't understand that there's a culture or a community that surrounds deafness. They only see the medical side. That makes sense. But as you all have heard, I'm sure a lot of people do not support cochlear implants. A lot of people are against them, but it's important to remember that it's a spectrum. All of these opinions vary. There are the people who are in full support, the people who are fully against, but there's people in the middle who are not sure which side they support. So people who usually generally are against cochlear implants might think some of these things. One, it's a loss of identity, so who you are. When you get a cochlear implant, you no longer are deaf, not anymore, but you're still not hearing. You're not hard of hearing, so what are you? One of the first questions a deaf person might ask you is, are you deaf, hearing, which are you? Because to them, it is important. It's a big part of who they are, and they're proud of that. And so, as it goes into the second reason, which is because if you see a problem, you fix it, right? So, if you get a cochlear implant, then are you trying to fix a problem? To a lot of people, that's what it seems like. You have a problem, which is your hearing loss, and you're trying to fix that. And so that means to a lot of people that you see yourself as disabled. And one of the biggest parts of deaf culture is you are not disabled. This is a different way of life. Never will I say that one of my students is disabled. Never will I say I'm disabled because I'm hard of hearing. And so it confuses a lot of people when their friends or family get cochlear implants because are you saying I have a problem? A lot of people hear about cochlear implants and think that people are trying to encourage oral communication methods and education systems. And so when kids get cochlear implants, a lot of them will go to oral schools or mainstream, and then they're not learning sign language. They're not learning about deaf culture. And that's why a lot of people fear that we're losing deaf culture. We're losing members of the deaf community as more and more and more kids are getting cochlear implants because their parents, their families are not learning, hey, here is a different method that you can go. But when your child is born and you're in the hospital and all you're socializing with are doctors and professionals, they're going to tell you, your child has a problem. This is a solution. So that's why a lot of people, they're not all mad about cochlear implants, but it scares them. And what people are telling new parents of deaf children scares them because they don't even know. So does that make sense? Okay. Well, now, because we are all in this major for a reason, I wanted to have a discussion or a debate, whichever you please, about what you all think about cochlear implants. Because most people at this point, like now, in their major, have some of an opinion about how they feel with the use of cochlear implants. So first, I want, as a group, to discuss how you all feel about cochlear implants in a general sense. So does anyone have anything they really have wanted to say in any of their classes that they have not yet felt like it was right time to say it? I'm going to sit because we're all equal. This is
what science can do, but I see the other side. I don't know. I think that cochlear implants are good and they can be useful. But I'm not deaf, so I don't know all the feelings that can go into all of these people getting cochlear implants.
I feel like cochlear implants are not wrong, but the point of view that doctors are allowed the opportunity to talk with all of these hearing parents before anyone else has a chance, and suddenly they're making these decisions about getting cochlear implants before the parents ever meet really a culturally deaf person, and they're not really understanding that sign language and deaf culture and deaf schools are really a choice. And if all of these parents were really given both of the choices and then decided to get a cochlear implant, fine. You know, it's the family's choice, what's going to be best. But my fear in the history of America is with every culture, we strip it away. You know, when you look at Native Americans, when you look at African Americans, we constantly just take that culture away from people. And deaf culture is a real thing. And if you don't allow them the choice to have that culture, you're just really stealing that from a really important group of people, without really, helping the parents understand the choices first. It's not wrong, but
I think that deaf culture now is changing a lot because of cochlear implants. I've seen so many kids now that their mom and dad decide my child is going to get a cochlear implant, and maybe they think that their kids can learn sign language too, but I think more now that we're all going to see so many kids getting CIs because their mom and dad are scared, that because they'll hear from doctors that their kids are going to miss out on language and they'll be behind in school, and they're just nervous and scared, and they don't want their children to miss out on different jobs or life experiences.
I think that if parents pick cochlear implants, they should also have them learn sign language and learn about deaf culture, so they know both.
I'm not against cochlear implants, but I think it's not right when parents just make the decision for their kid. A little baby doesn't know if they want a cochlear implant. They don't know who they are yet. I think the person should be able to make the decision for themselves.
I think that's one of the hard parts, cochlear implants, because I have a speech and hearing background, and doctors, audiologists,